From the Kobayashi Maru to Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid, nerds are passionate about a lot of things, but there's one thing that they love above all else, and that is correcting people. This is a fan remake of Actually. Joining us today, representing Brazil, João.
Hello from Brazil.
Representing the US of A, it's Cullen.
Yeah, I guess representing USA.
And representing the first world, Lizzie.
For the Queen and country.
Don't you dare let me down, okay? We
have
have a lot riding on this. Do you know how many colonials have come on this show before? Thank you all so much for joining me, even though I have just insulted two of your nations. The game is simple. In front of me, I have a stack of incorrect statements about the nerdy, geeky media that you or some other nerds out there know and love. All you have to do is buzz in and correct them. There are two rules. You can buzz in and interrupt me whenever you like. You don't have to wait until I've finished reading the question. The point is that you prove that you are better and more knowledgeable than me, and I said something wrong like a big old dum-dum. And, of course, you must proceed all your corrections with an obnoxiously nerdy, actually. If you don't, I'm afraid I won't be able to give you the point. For instance, if I was to say that Bruce Wayne's nemesis, the Clown Prince of Crime, was the villainous Jojo Siwa, you would buzz in and say...
Actually, that would be the Joker.
Yes, exactly.
Actually, we don't know Joker's real name canonically, so it could be Jojo Siwa.
Learn something new every day. No points. This first question is going to be about Pokemon. Cubone is a Generation 1 Ground-type Pokemon, which evolves into a Marowak at level 28, or an Alolan Marowak if leveled up at night in Alola. A small bipedal dinosaur-like creature, it wields a bone as a weapon, allowing it to learn the unique moves Bone Club and Bone Meringue, and has a tough skull-like exoskeleton attached to its head, which may explain its battle armor ability. Cullen, you buzzed in, shortly followed by Lizzie. Cullen
Actually...
first.
It's not a bone-like exoskeleton, it's its dead mother's skull on its head.
That is incredibly fucked and exactly what we were going for.
There's also a theory that it's a baby Kangaskhan. Like the thing that's in Kangaskhan's pouch. Like when its mom dies, it takes its head and becomes a Cubone. I don't know if I buy that, but like I've also seen that.
I'm gonna... so, people who've seen the previous episodes will probably know that I was not a Pokemon kid. This seems... incredibly fucked.
It also changes its type. If it is a Kangaskhan baby, it changes from a normal type to be a ground type once it puts its mother in the ground, and it's no longer normal.
It's just so depressed. It's just like, bury me now. I want to die. Oh god.
I don't know much about Pokemon, but that's clearly not normal.
Here's something a bit lighter.
Oh, yeah,
Game
Pokemon,
of Thrones. Valyrian steel is a prized material used to make weapons and other items of unparalleled quality. Notable Valyrian steel weapons include Ice, the ancestral sword of House Stark that was used to behead Eddard Stark, Longclaw, which was given to Jon Snow by Jorah Mormont, Arya Stark's needle, used throughout the series to execute people on her kill list, and Heartsbane, given to Jorah Mormont to wield during the Battle of Winterfell by Sam Tarly. Everybody buzzed in, but João got there first.
Actually, needle is just a normal Castle Forge sword.
That's exactly what we're going for.
I think
Nothing
it's
fancy.
Forger guy in Winterfell. There's a bit of side story about it.
Yeah, it was just like a random sword that was just forged by some dude. I think it's like very sort of interesting that they sort of gave themselves a bit of an out with the White Walkers in that they can be killed by Valyrian steel, but then they also decided that's not the only way to kill them. We also have another magic material that kills them called Dragon Glass.
Yeah,
right,
yeah.
but Dragon Glass killed them, but the Dragon Fire didn't. I don't know. Last season was bullshit.
We haven't got there in the books yet. So,
No, I'm not blaming George.
hoping...
I'm blaming the people who adapted it. They changed the main villain of the show 3 straight episodes. That's just not good writing.
I have been criticizing that show ever since season 4 or 5. People are like, no, the show is too good. And I was like, no, they're fucking it up. And
I feel bad for the Game of Thrones book readers, but I think I feel slightly worse for the Percy Jackson and the Eragon fans, where it's like, your one major adaptation was not only bad, it was never good, and it may have like put people off the books.
For my childhood, it was Alex Rider. The movie was dog shit.
Whereas as a Hunger Games fan, we've always had a great run.
Very, very smug there. This next question is about Dungeons and Dragons. Spells in 5th edition D&D can be versatile tools, weapons, or protective wards, but there are limits to their power. Characters and monsters can only cast a limited number of spells through expending spell slots before needing to take a long rest to restore them. The only exception to this is the use of cantrips, spells with a spell level of 0, such as Mage Hand or Prestidigitation, which can be cast at will without using spell slots. Cullen, you buzzed in first.
I believe sorcerers get spell slots back on a short rest.
No, I'm actually. I know.
I don't think that's correct, but I feel like João is probably going to be more knowledgeable than me.
Actually, it's not sorcerers. You got it wrong. It's warlocks. Warlocks can.
It is warlocks, motherfucker. I don't play full casters.
There are very few spells. They have like two or three, and at the end like 6 or 5 instead of like 20 or something. But they can recover them on a short rest.
That is correct. Now that I'm going to give you the point, but Lizzie also buzzed in, and I want to see what she has to say.
I believe wizards can also recover spell slots under a short rest, and depending on the level of the character. Sorry, rephrase that. It's not just on long rests. Many characters have higher level abilities that allow them to recover at short rests. Sorcerers and sorceresses can also burn sorcery points to cast their spells, depending on the level of the spell.
Yeah.
The only base class that can do that is the warlock, but depending on the specialization you are going with, there are some abilities that recover it. That's true. I'm a long time player. I started in AD&D.
I started 6 months ago. I was building a warlock yesterday. I should have known this, and I feel upset.
Lizzie?
Also, you can also cast spells using various items that you've been able to attune to, which give you free uses of spells.
That's
Okay.
also
That is true.
I feel like this is a point that I am going to give to both João and Lizzie because they have just absolutely decimated basically everything that I had as the correction for this. The correction that I had from the D&D Wiki was that there were several exceptions. Some characters include monsters, which have special abilities that lets them cast spells without using spell slots. For instance, pit fiends from the Nine Hells can cast spells in this way.
Also, if you cast a ritual spell, you don't have to extend the use of a spell slot if you use the whole ritual.
Okay.
That's awesome. I was going for the more obvious thing.
How about I say everybody gets that point and we could. This is like. This just reminds me of being in secondary school and being so pathetic that I got bullied by the nerds as well. Point to everybody for getting the things that we were going for there. Yes, there are many exceptions, including monks that have learned the way of the 4 elements, warlocks who choose to use certain eldritch invocations, and all the many other exceptions that we have listed. And doubtless the commenters will as well. I love you. Please be nice to me. This next question is going to be about Rick and Morty. The episode Total Recall opens with 2 previously unseen characters, Uncle Steve and Mr. Poopy Butthole, alongside the Smith family we've been with since the first episode. Rick shoots Uncle Steve and explains that he was an alien parasite that implants fake memories. The family eventually kill all the parasites in their home after they realise they have no negative memories of the parasites, including Cousin Nicky, Mr. Beauregard, Sleepy Gary, Pencil Vesta, and Tinkles. But in a plot twist, when Beth shoots Mr. Poopy Butthole, it is revealed that he is not a parasite. Beth just had no bad memories of him. Lizzie buzzed in.
Actually, it wasn't Beth that shoots Mr. Poopy Butthole. It's in fact Beth's husband, whose name escapes me. Right, Jerry. It's Jerry.
It's not Jerry. It is in fact Beth that shoots Mr. Poopy Butthole. Cullen, you are next.
Actually, Mr. Poopy Butthole wasn't seen before he shot Uncle Steve. He shot Uncle Steve. It's like, we have to look out for other mysterious people. And Mr. Poopy Butthole popped up and was like, "You sure do, Rick," or something like that.
That is technically correct, but I think there's a slightly bigger thing that is wrong. It is true that he was introduced at the start of the episode. He was just introduced after. The syntax made it a little unclear, but that's not quite what we're going for. João?
Actually, they don't kill them. They send them to another dimension.
Nope. Straight up murder. Lizzie buzzed in again.
So I'm going to say that Cousin Nicky wasn't included in that lineup.
Cousin Nicky was included in that lineup. He was like the New Jersey kind of guy, like, hey, I'm walking here.
I'm actually, spoiler alert, this is not the Smith family we've been with since the first episode. This is after the Cronenberg episode, so they've switched dimensions into the new Smith family by this point.
That is correct, and that is exactly what I was going for, and being very sneaky with it. Yes, I said this is the Smith family we've been with since the first episode, when in fact it's an entirely different Smith family from an entirely separate dimension to the ones that, to the Rick and Morty that we have been following throughout the series. They, Cronenberg...
You only get to do this 2 or 3 more times.
This brings us on to our first shiny question. Shiny questions, just like shiny Pokemon, are basically worth the same number of points. They're just slightly different and slightly rarer. This is a game that we are calling Always on Brand. If you're an evil corporation in a video game, you need a few things. An army of faceless goons, some conveniently placed audio logs for the protagonist to find, and a killer graphic design team to make you a fantastic logo. We're going to show you some logos from organisations in video game franchises. All you need to do is buzz in and tell me which game or game series it is from. Your first one is here. Whose logo is this? Lizzie got there first.
Aperture Science from the Portal series.
This is Aperture Science from the Portal series. Your next one is here. Who has this logo? Lizzie again.
It's Umbrella Pharmaceuticals from the Resident Evil series.
Yes, exactly.
Really just shaped like an umbrella, huh? Jesus.
I mean, one could also say Biohazard if we happen to be Japanese.
Your next one is here. Who has this logo? Lizzie again.
Abstergo Industries from the Assassin's Creed series.
Doing our nation proud. Doing our nation very proud so far. What
Yeah.
about this logo? Where is this from? Lizzie again?
I don't recognise it, but I want to say that's from Cyberpunk.
This is from Cyberpunk, yes! This is the logo of Arasaka from Cyberpunk 2077. Your next one is here. Lizzie once again.
This is the Hyperion Industries logo from Borderlands.
That's more correct than what I have on the thing. I just have this down as being the logo for the Vaults, but no, yes. What about this logo? Where's this from? Lizzie, once again.
Fuck.
Nuka-Cola from Fallout.
This is Nuka-Cola for Fallout. Yep. Can't beat the pride of Sheffield. Fastest fingers in the whole UK. So.
My girlfriend would be happy with that statement.
Fingers in the UK.
Walking that back. And
I don't think that's your title to bestow, my friend.
Here is your final logo. Who has this logo? Cullen.
That's Team Rocket. That's Pokemon.
That is Team Rocket, yes. Still not enough to clinch the point. That point is definitely going to go to Lizzie, but well done for getting that one at the end. Wow. Okay.
Good thing you did nothing for that.
Okay, this next question is going to be about Norse mythology. One of the 9 realms surrounding the world tree Yggdrasil in Norse mythology, Asgard is the home of the Aesir, tribe of gods, and also the site of Valhalla, a majestic, enormous hall presided over by Odin, where all warriors who die in combat will be led by Valkyries to prepare for the apocalyptic events of Ragnarok. Lizzie got there first.
It's not all warriors who die in combat. It's only half. The other half go to Freya's Hall, whose name I won't be saying out loud because my old Norse is not fantastic, despite playing in a Viking metal band.
That is correct, yes. I'm gonna butcher this pronunciation as well. The other hall is Freya's Field of Folkvanger, which I'm gonna say if I have the choice in between going to Valhalla, which is gonna be full of like a bunch of sweaty dudes and all the animals, all the ravens, the 8-legged horse that Odin owns, versus just a nice kind of like park with the goddess of love and sex. I think, can I call dibs on that one if like I ever die in battle?
Oh, I always thought Valhalla was like a long tavern and everyone just partied. I didn't know the thing about preparing for the end.
I mean, it's Vikings, so it's probably going to be like a little column A, a little column B.
It's a bit unclear in terms of the sagas whether Ragnarok has already happened, is going to happen, or happens in a cycle. But the idea is that you train during the day by slaying one another in battle, and then party in the two respective halls through the night to motivate yourself until the end times where you're expected to die with Stormengudr, the world serpent.
Yeah.
When you say motivate yourself, does motivating yourself include lots of booze?
Yeah, there's a goat that only gives mead through its udders.
I was not aware of that, and I am so glad that it exists.
There's a goat with mead nipples?
Mead nipples, yeah. I would say check out the Mead Song by Brothers of Metal. Relatively accurate to the sagas, even if it is a bit of a piss take of a song.
The new God of War. There was not mead nipples, I can guarantee you that.
Where are the mead nipples? This next question is going to be about The Boys. The Boys, the titular group of vigilantes from the comic book by Garth Ennis and Derek Robertson and its TV adaptation, consist of Huey, who joined the team after his girlfriend was killed by the superhero A-Train, Frenchie, a French weapons expert, Butcher, who leads the team and earned his nickname from the violent methods he uses, Mother's Milk, a methodical military veteran, and the Female, a selectively mute woman prone to bursts of brutal violence. Although nameless in the original comic, her name was revealed to be Kimiko Miyashiro in the TV adaptation.
Actually, there is no Mother's Milk?
His name is Mother's Milk, and they kind of like gloss over that in the show, just like, wait, your name is Mother's Milk? And he's just like, yes. Cullen, you buzzed in. What's your correction?
Actually, Butcher did not earn a nickname from the violent methods he uses. It's just his last name. His name is Billy Butcher.
That is correct, yes. It's just his name. Maybe Cullen could explain. Do you want to tell us why Mother's Milk is called Mother's Milk?
He's called Mother's Milk in the comics. His mom was injected with Compound V, and he has to continuously nurse on Mother's Milk, even as an adult, to keep his super strength.
Yeah.
Ew.
Not a great comic, but it's great if you're in your freshman year of college and you're into edgy comics like I was when I read it.
I also read the
Yes.
comics, and I got to say the TV series much better.
Yeah. There were some parts of the comic I liked, but now looking back on it, that was just because I thought, wow, swears and sex in a comic book?
This is edgy!
because comic books never have those, right?
My introduction to comics was kind of a baptism of fire because my dad gave me a copy of Watchmen when I was 15.
Watchmen.
Which I also love Watchmen, but it's just like, yeah, that was kind of like one of those things like, oh god, there's so much sex and violence. This is great.
Watchmen is great, but I don't know if it's the perfect first comic book for you to read because it's supposed to be a deconstruction, and if you don't know a bit about what it's deconstruction, you know?
Yeah, this is a very weird kind of experience to me, and I think I only sort of clocked after I had read the comic book and then seen Captain America and seen all the Avengers films, and I was like, yeah, I love the MCU. And I was like, wait, is the comedian supposed to be like what Captain America would be like if he was like an actual person?
This is why I liked my first major comic series had The Crow. If you want edgy, dark humor, try a man resurrected from death by a mysterious sort of pretty demonic figure to go avenge his raped-to-death girlfriend by brutally murdering all of the people involved.
Yeah.
Once you've done that, everything else seems quite pleasant, really.
Let's keep on this very edgy theme. This next question is going to be about the World of Darkness RPGs, specifically Vampire the Masquerade. Vampires in the World of Darkness RPGs are undead creatures with a powerful thirst for blood, but they do deviate considerably from many folkloric interpretations. For instance, their victims don't become vampires after a single bite, they are unlikely to be repulsed by garlic or crosses, depending on their merits and flaws, and they are not technically immortal. Near-fatal injuries will cause them to enter a death-like sleep called torpor, and they can be killed permanently by fire, decapitation, having a stake driven through their heart, or exposure to sunlight. João got there first.
Actually, you don't kill them with a stake through the heart. You just paralyze them.
That is correct. Yes.
I'd be very very sad if I didn't get this one because I have a closet full of RPG books, various RPGs from many parts of the world, and about 30 to 40% of them are Vampire the Masquerade books. It's like my favorite RPG.
I can't remember where it was. I think it may have been Twilight, but it was some vampire kind of adjacent series out there where somebody asked, will you die if I stab a stake through your heart? And the guy just goes, yeah, everybody would die if you stab a stake through their heart.
I think that was actually Edward Cullen in that series. They were going through like, yeah, we're actually relatively fragile. It's just we're really buff.
I'm not a vampire. I'm just swole and pale.
It's fun because Twilight has impacted so much the culture that sometimes when you tell your friends, oh, I'm going to this weekend, I'm going to pretend to be a vampire with my friends, roll some dice. They say, oh, vampire like Twilight. And no, not exactly.
This brings us on to our second shiny question, one called Periodic Fable. Does the material with the very specific properties that your sci-fi or fantasy story need not exist in real life? Simple. Just bullshit it. Make something up. I am going to show you 7 fictional chemicals from across the nerdosphere. All you need to do is match them to the characters that would use them.
This is not that easy.
What
I know 3 or 4, and then the rest is...
This is a lot of guesswork. Okay, let's go through. That's Goku from Dragon Ball Z, and he uses Kachin. T'Challa from Black Panther's armor is made from vibranium. Tezzeret from Magic the Gathering uses Ethereum. Steve from Minecraft uses Netherite. Megatron from Transformers uses Energon. Frodo Baggins from Lord of the Rings, his armor is made from Mithril. And Rico Rodriguez from Just Cause 3 is trying to hunt down Bavarium. So I believe, Lizzie, you got all of these right, and then Cullen and João, you got 5 each.
Yeah, I swapped Megatron for Rico Rodriguez because this guy looks like he would be on Energon, it looks like a energy drink or something.
Energon fills your body with electrolytes. Too many electrolytes.
Yeah, Energon.
I like the idea of have so many electrolytes you become a transformer.
You're free Energon now for giant.
Yeah. That point is comfortably Lizzie's. This next question is going to be another comics question. Dreaming of a world where humans and mutants could coexist peacefully, Professor Charles Xavier turned his family mansion into the Xavier School for Gifted Youngsters, where he could train mutants to use their powers to benefit mankind. He assembled a team under the name XMen, originally consisting of Cyclops, Iceman, Beast, Angel, and Marvel Girl. Later additions to the team included Wolverine, Jean Grey, Storm, Rogue, and Gambit. Cullen buzzed in first.
Actually, Jean Grey is Marvel Girl.
That is correct, yes.
Yeah.
She wasn't a later addition to the team, she came along...
The one X-Men comic I've read has been X-Men Year 1.
This next question is going to be about Star Trek Deep Space Nine.
Here we go.
Lizzie looking happy.
Live long and die, motherfuckers.
The Jem'Hadar are the shock troops of the powerful Dominion, a military superpower from the Gamma Quadrant. Genetically engineered by the thousands for their strength and resolve, they are notable for their ability to camouflage themselves with their surroundings and their use of Ketracel White, a steroid that dramatically increases their lifespan. Lizzie.
Actually, it doesn't dramatically increase their lifespan. It's a control mechanism. They are bioengineered to be addicted to Ketracel White, delivered intravenously into their heart. And if they don't receive it within a certain number of days, they die.
That is correct, yes. This is not a steroid that pumps them up. It is, it's just crack, basically.
There's a specific episode, actually, in season 3 or 4, where they manage to recover a Jem'Hadar young without the Ketracel White and try and wean him off it. It does not go particularly well for anyone involved.
They have a crack baby episode of Star Trek Deep Space Nine.
They have a Star Trek future crack baby. Because, drug dependency is a real issue, everybody.
Wait, when was this made? Was this a very special episode?
Hey kids, we've had a lot of fun here today when I'm actually...
We go to a lot of far out places on Star Trek Deep Space Nine. You know what's not far out? Drug addiction.
I've got a tidbit for this that might make it to the episode. So Ketracel White may be bad, but it's not as bad as True Sight within the Harry Dresden Files universe. Because, of course, what you want from your narcotic is to literally be able to see the never, never, the ethereal, demonic world behind the real world for your hallucinogenic trip. Because, acid's too unreliable. When I trip, I really want a bad trip, If it's not demons crawling up my eyes, is it really drugs?
I want to stare into the void. Just the abyssal plains just smell like a crack den. It's just like, oh god, this is like some serious sticky shit you've been smoking up in here. That's not crack, that's
There's like a slight cinnamon smell.
All of South Flemington.
It smells of like when kids used to sell oregano and pretend it was weed.
I think you'll find South Flemington smells like middle-class kids from Surrey trying to find themselves and be unique by enjoying weed, reggae, and just trying to chill out, man.
That was such a
It's
specific
like
British joke. I have no clue what you just said.
This brings us on to our final shiny question, a game that we like to call Where Are We? So on the next set of slides, I have a series of maps. All I need you to do is buzz in and tell me where these maps are from. Tell me the name of the place if you can. Typically when this is done, it's fantasy maps or maps from video games. We're doing something a little bit different here. These maps are all going to be from animated TV shows. Where are we? Here.
Avatar: The Last Airbender.
This is Avatar: The Last Airbender. Yes, this is the Four Nations. Where are we? Here. Everybody but Cullen first again.
This is South Park.
This is South Park, yes. Where are we? Here.
This is the world of Ooh from Adventure Time.
This is Ooh from Adventure Time, yes. Where are we? Here. Cullen again.
Is this Lloyd in space? That might be a deep cut. But that's what I first thought.
That's a very deep cut. I've never heard of that.
It's the first spaceship thing I could think of.
Lizzie.
I'm going off the animation style here, but I'm going to say, is this the Citadel of Ricks from Rick and Morty?
This is the Citadel of Ricks from Rick and Morty, yes. Where are we? Here. Zoom in so you can see some of those place names. Cullen?
Yeah.
Is this My Little Pony?
This is My Little Pony, Friendship is Magic,
There's
yes.
I was gonna say, there's too many horse puns for it not to be.
I just wanted to bring this up because of how painful some of these horse puns are. We have Philadelphia, we have Baltimore. They hurt. The horse puns hurt.
Yeah.
Is this just me thinking that someone from Alabama is trying to name all the places in America?
Philadelphia, Liberal Town,
Philadelphia.
Las Pegasus.
Manhattan.
Where are we? Here. Lizzie again.
This is going to be Matt Groding's Dreamland series. Oh, what's it called? It's not called Dreamland, is it?
You are
No,
correct,
sorry.
and I will give you the point if no one else can get the name. Cullen, you are next.
This is Disenchantment.
This is Disenchantment, yeah. It's a very forgettable series, I'll be honest. Where are we? Here. Cullen again.
That's Steven Universe.
This is Steven Universe. This is Beach City. And I believe this is your final one. Where are we? Here. Cullen.
This is Dora the Explorer, so I guess fictional Mexico.
This is Dora the Explorer. This isn't a map. This is the map from Dora the Explorer.
Yeah.
Pretty sure Dora the Explorer is actually in the US. I think she just happens to be a Latino American.
No, I thought in the movie they went to Old Mayan ruins, like the live-action movie commercial I saw. My buddy said he took mushrooms and went to see Dora live-action movie, and it's a life-changing experience. I can't corroborate that.
Wow, okay. That point's going to go to Cullen. This brings us on to our final question, which as always concerns real-life skills. Hypothermia is a dangerous condition where the body loses more heat than it produces, causing the body temperature to decrease between 35 degrees C or 95 degrees Fahrenheit. This can result in death. To help mitigate these symptoms, the Mayo Clinic suggests these steps. First, remove the person from the cold, or if this isn't possible, protect them from the elements, especially the head and neck. Put the person under heating lamps, or failing that, insulate them with warm blankets. Remove wet clothing from the body. One major thing that should be avoided is giving the person alcohol, as it hinders the warming process. Cullen.
Actually, you don't want to put the warming lamps on them too quickly, because I believe it can mess up your body.
That is correct. If you put somebody on heating lamps or next to a radiator or something, it's going to warm them up too quickly, and it can send them into shock, which can also be fatal. That is going to be Cullen's point, meaning at the end we have Cullen with 7 points as our winner, Lizzie with 5, very close second, and João with 3 points. Join us next time for even more pedantic corrections here on the fan remake of Actually.